Good day, subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Jeremy. This is the Financial Education Channel, and today we're doing Stock Market Weekly Recap number 24 ever in history, guys. We are recapping the July 7th, 2017 week. We're going to look at how the markets did. We're going to look at some of the stocks that went up and down the most this week. We're going to also look at some big, huge news stories that happened this week. We had several big news stories. And lastly, we're going to look at what we have to look forward to in next week, guys. So we're going to get into all that. First, before I get into any of that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much to you guys. A day ago, I asked you guys for help. That's the only time in the channel's history I've really asked you for help. And you guys came through with overwhelming support in regards to my book. You know, if you watch the whole video and whatnot, the I Need Help video, it had to do with the paperback issue and whatnot. I asked, you know, I set the price to $3.99, so the book's $3.99 all weekend. It's usually $9.99. I just have it as an ebook now. I asked you guys to please review it if you enjoyed it, and reviews went up over 30%, and it hasn't even been 24 hours as of me recording that last video to now, and reviews on the book went up over 30%, guys. So thank you so much. It means a lot to me, and it's almost like a blessing in disguise, this whole situation, because I always preach, like, give others more value than you take from others. And I try to practice that in my own life every single day. And then it's nice when the time comes and you can show that, and it's proof in the pudding, guys. Like, you came through and way exceeded my expectations as far as that goes, guys. So it's nice to know that, you know, I give you guys a great value, or at least I try to each and every day with these videos that I release, and you guys came back and support me like crazy. So it's just proof that it works in real life, guys. You give others a lot more value than you take back from them when you ask them for help, and this is most people. When you ask them for help, they're going to help you back in the end, guys. So you did it. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. So anyways, let's get right into this, guys. The Dow Jones this week was up 0.3%, not too shabby. The NASDAQ was up about 0.2% this week, and the S&P 500 was up 0.07%. So not much happening in the markets this week. The markets were closed on Tuesday for the 4th of July, so it was only a 4-day market open week, guys. Now, let's look at some of these stocks that went up and down the most. Didn't have a lot on the upside, but Maui Land and Pineapple Company up another 13% this week. This stock is up 219% year to date. Maui Land and Pineapple Company, unbelievable. This stock has made the list so many times, it's ridiculous. And every time I'm like, why the hell didn't we buy this stock 6 months ago, guys? We could all be buying houses in Maui right now. Unbelievable, unbelievable, that stock. Deutsche Bank, one of the biggest banks in Europe, one of the biggest investment banks, up over 7% this week. So a nice week for Deutsche Bank. The rest of the stocks on the downside, unfortunately. Rite Aid, their deal with Walgreens fell through, although they are going to sell about, I think it's around 2,000 stores to Walgreens. That stock did close out down almost 20% this week. Look at that year to date, down 71%. Absolutely horrible. Blue Apron, this stock went down over 17% this week, and this company just came public last week, guys. I've never seen it, at least in my history of, you know, covering IPOs and being in the stock market, I don't think I've ever seen a stock do so poorly right out of the gates. Like, usually IPOs go up, right? Or they go up from their IPO price. And sometimes they'll just stay like stagnant or right around that IPO price. Like, and I'm talking within like the first week or two after going public. This one's just gone straight down, guys. This company's been public for a week. I think it IPO'd at something around $10, and now it's $7.73. Like, it's straight down. I don't ever recall seeing an IPO, especially of a kind of a bigger company that was hyped, go this bad, this fast. Usually it's like they go up and then they start falling or something, or they just go stagnant or something like that. This one's just gone straight down in a straight line, guys. Really bad there. L Brands down 16% this week. We're going to talk about them a little later. When L Brands is having retail troubles, you know retail's in bad shape. That's all I'm going to say. Advanced Auto Parts went down over 12% this week. I've been talking about these auto, retailers and how they're going to be coming upon struggles, and it's already starting. AutoZone this week went down over 12%. AutoZone's down over 30%. 36% year to date, and we're not even what, halfway through the year right now. We're halfway through the year, and it's down 36%. Pier 1 Imports, another retailer, down over 10% this week. This one's down 45% year to date. So that covers the stock market this week. That covers the stocks that went up and down the most this week. Now, what were the biggest news stories I was paying attention to this week? Well, the number one news story I was paying attention to this week was the U.S. confirms an intercontinental ballistic missile was tested by North Korea. Now, this missile was not just tested, but it was actually a successful launch. This is a brand new thing for North Korea. Like, they've never had an intercontinental ballistic missile successfully succeed, right? This is a first time, guys. And it's a situation, I've been watching this North Korea situation developing over the last few months, and I've been paying close attention to it. I mentioned it on a few videos in the past and whatnot. And it's at a point now where I'm like, what is going to happen here, guys? What is going to happen here? Like, what's the result going to happen? Like what move should the world make? And what, we know the leader over there is crazy. Like, people think Trump's crazy. Trump's not even 1% as crazy as Kim Jong-un over there, guys. And it just, oh man, I'm thinking like the United States, I live in the United States. I feel like in any situation, I almost feel like we're in a no-win situation. We're in a lose-lose, because let's say we go in and we attack bases or whatever, and then North Korea starts firing missiles towards South Korea or whatever happens there. Everybody's going to frown upon the United States. Why did you guys do that? You shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. And then what if we don't do something, and North Korea not only has a successful intercontinental ballistic missile, but then they also have a nuclear bomb that they can attach to that, and they launch it over. Everybody's going to say, oh, United States, why didn't you do something? You could have, nipped this in the bud a long time ago. So I feel like we're in a lose-lose situation at the end of the day, and it's like, I don't know why we can't just, bomb the hell out of one of their bases and then put the cards in their hand at that point. If he's really as crazy as he thinks, and then he wants to try to launch a real attack on either South Korea or us or whatever, then at that point you can do that. But this whole, let's talk some more, it's not working. Like, the talking is not working. Oh, let's do some more sanctions. They're not working, guys. They're not working. And you can make an argument that maybe China doesn't want the United States, to get involved with North Korea, because then that puts the United States in even a bigger stronghold there, because we know the United States has bases in South Korea already, tons of troops in South Korea. If they get into North Korea, then the United States could have troops right on China's border. And, United States and China, like, they're cool, but not that cool. Like, we don't want to be neighbors, type of thing. So there's so much at play here, guys, and it's something I'm definitely paying attention to. It's just, it's a situation that, I don't know. At this point, I'm like, what are we waiting for? Are we going to wait to do something until North Korea actually has a nuclear bomb? And they've already sent out all these threats? Then what are we going to do at that point? Because then if they already have nuclear bombs, right? Then if we try to attack, who's to say they're not just going to start launching nuclear bombs all over the place, guys? So there's so much at play here. And it's one of those things, you nip it in the bud now, which we've already let it go so long. We've already, talked so much, talked this big game. Oh, let's send our ships over there. I don't know, guys. It's just a mess, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this. It really bothers me, and it's really something that could upset the markets. So let me know in that comment section what you guys think is a plan. Should the United States and just every country in general kind of gang up and say North Korea, we're going to take care of you if you don't stop your nuclear program, or maybe you like North Korea having a nuclear program? I don't know. I'd love to hear from you guys in that comment section. The next story that caught my attention was L Brands. Retail's bad when L Brands is struggling, right? So listen to this. L Brands shares fell more than 10% Thursday after the specialty retailer reported a decline in same-store sales in June. The operator of stores such as Victoria's Secret and Bath & Body Works said same-store sales fell 9% last month. That's, anybody knows about same-store sales in retail? That's awful, a 9% drop. Worse than a 7% decline expected by analysts, which is absolutely horrible as well. Victoria's Secret posted a 17% sales tumble in June, which is worse than the 11.9% expected by analysts. So this is just, retail's just a mess right now. This is why I can't get behind any retailer right now, guys. Some people ask me, well, what about this one? I can't get behind anybody in retail as far as physical retail, because I see you know, some of the strongest brands. Like, we're talking Victoria's Secret. Like, does it get stronger of a brand than that? And Bath and Body Works, are you kidding me? When those brands are struggling, how can I get behind anything out there? Like, that's just like, when those are the type of companies that do better than everybody else, right? Have the stronger brand than everybody else. And when they struggle, it's like, dang, retail is just a mess right now, guys. Just an absolute mess. Next story that caught my attention this week is the jobs numbers came out. So they were actually pretty good, as expected, I guess you could say. Employment report showed the U.S. added 222,000 jobs in June, representing the second largest job haul of the year and underscoring that the labor market remains healthy. So just good news all around there, guys. I mean, nothing earth-shaking as far as job numbers, like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever, but just solid economic growth, and that's all we can ask for, especially in a country as big as the United States. This next thing just caught my attention here. This was published today. It caught my attention. It caught me on the side, and I saw lowest income families spend 40% of their money on what economists label luxuries. And I was just seeing the story, and it doesn't really have anything to do with today's video. I just wanted to rant about this because I remember working at Walgreens and working at Quick Trip, right? And I remember people that would, you know, and this is talking about like luxury goods, like handbags, fancy sunglasses, like stuff like that. But I remember working at Quick Trip and Walgreens, right? And I always remember like people spending ridiculous amounts of money on their EBT cards, which is like food stamps, right? And buying such a bunch of junk food, like bags of potato chips, like candy bars, all this junk, like candy, you know, gummy bears and stuff. They would, you know, Slurpees, like all this real, we called it for Zonies at Quick Trip, right? It bothers me so much. Like, it used to bother me so much. Like, I would just see it and I'd be like, what are you doing here? There's a food store right across the street where you can get real food, and everything is more expensive here. Like, why are you shopping here? You're on food stamps. Like, you should be shopping at the grocery store across the street. It used to bother me so much, guys. And like, I remember growing up as a little kid, right? That was the only time I was ever on food stamps in my life, when I was a little kid. I remember going to the food store with my mom, and that's when it was actually food stamps. Like, it was literally physical stamps. It wasn't like a EBT card. I remember my mom buying real food, like chicken, like loaves of bread, like real food that like has some nutritional value. And then I just remember seeing these people would spend 30, 40 bucks on a bunch of junk food at Walgreens or Quick Trip, and it would just like blow my mind. Like, that's somebody else's taxpayer money you're using to buy all that junk food. Like, you should be buying good quality food from a food store where you can get a bunch of food for cheap, right? Not like a bunch of junk food. And, you know, other people say, oh, that's their money. Well, yeah, it's their money now, but it was actually taxpayers' money that gave that person the money, right? And they're just feeding their kids junk. And I don't know, that's just a rant I wanted to go on. It used to frustrate. Have any of you guys ever worked retail and know what I'm talking about? If anybody's worked retail out there, especially in the United States, you know exactly what I'm talking about. As far as if you worked anything that, you know, sells like food items like that, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like, people coming in spending 30, 40, 50 bucks on a food stamp card, and they get a bunch of junk food with it, and it's like, dude, what are you feeding your kids? Like, this is ridiculous. Next story up that's actually stock market related is Tesla. So Tesla, the Model 3 electric car for the masses, should come out in assembly line on Saturday. So Elon Musk basically is talking about the first model will be delivered on the 28th, supposedly. So coming up in what, about 3 weeks here, and they're going to grow production quite a bit over time. But however, the stock faltered a lot this week. The main reason was, well, one, the production is not going to be as high as it was expected, and then there was some, you know, talk about maybe the deliveries aren't as high as expected as far as what's in transit. Then they're also talking about another reason why the stock fell this week was Model S. You know, Tesla's been claiming the Model S is the safest car in history, and then the Crash Institute did a bunch of tests on it, and they have some questions about maybe it's not the safest car in history. I think what Tesla meant is not just safe as far as you getting in an accident, but it's probably the safest car as far as preventing you from getting in an accident, right? Which is the main thing. Like if you get in an accident at 70 miles an hour and you flip your car, you're probably gonna die, no matter what kind of car you're in, right? Or you come in a head-on collision. The trick is you want to avoid that, and Tesla makes an argument that their car is the best car to prevent from those kind of accidents, guys. So it's interesting that they did put it through a bunch of tests, because I don't think that's really what Tesla or Elon Musk meant by the safest car in history. You know, so who knows what happens there, but as far as the stock goes, stock dropped massively this week, so we shall see what happens with that. As people always ask me, are you buying Tesla stock? They know how much I believe in Tesla. I'm still not buying it at these levels. Like, I need it much lower than like at least 235 or lower. If I can get under that price, then I'm very interested in buying shares. Up here, no. I'm not touching still up here in the 300s, guys. There's nothing going on next week. The only bit of news that I'm even paying attention to next week is Prime Day, which is July 11th. And this should be interesting because Amazon usually announces what type of numbers they do after Prime Day. This should easily be the biggest Prime Day ever as far as revenue goes for Amazon and whatnot. So I'm going to be paying attention to whatever numbers and metrics they give out after that. We know how Amazon just taken over the world, guys, and that's going to be very interesting. Other than that, there's like nothing next week that even interests me, which is interesting because usually every time there's a week where it's like, oh, there's nothing going on next week, it's usually when we have some bombshell news. I remember the last time I thought that it was there was like a week there where I was like, oh, there's really nothing going on next week. And then that would happen to be the week where Amazon tried to buy Whole Foods, guys. So we'll see what happens this week. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. It felt good to get back doing this. I skipped 1 week last week. I just had, because we did live stream and whatnot, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I'm excited to do it today. Anyways, if you just came across this channel, you may want to subscribe. We talk personal finance in the channel. We talk entrepreneurship. I'm an actual business owner. I give away so many business tips. We talk stock market investing more than anything. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day.